Greetings, everybody. It is I, Grim.
And I, Cuddles.
And we're here to discuss...
A whim away, a whim away. Oh!
Planet Zubia.
I know, it's amazing.
We are going to discuss the huge highs and a few frustrating lows that,
Yeah, you'll discuss them.
that have gone on.
Yeah, whatever.
So,
Mini lows.
Cuddles may purely be focusing on the highs, just so everybody's aware.
Because it's a really good game.
It is fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. But let's be aware, this is not the game. This is just the beta.
Yeah, beta be beta.
It is, yeah. In many ways, it is beta be beta. There have been some things that...
So let's discuss some highs.
Okay, go for it.
Wow. First of all, the animals.
Yep, look amazing.
Look amazing. Their AI is amazing. Okay, there's a couple of clipping issues. I mean, I've just seen a frankly brilliant one on Facebook. Two-headed tortoise.
I don't know how you can get... There's a point where just clipping's going to happen.
Yeah. And I don't think that with so much interaction, I think we're always going to have that. And I think, to be honest with you, some of them are quite funny. I've seen a flying pig. And so we do now know that pigs do fly.
They do.
But I think that, in general, their AI is fantastic. There is nothing more amazing than cheering your tortoise on as it slowly starves itself as it walks towards its food bowl.
I don't know if you should cheer that.
I think, though, the great relief you get when it finally reaches the food bowl is pretty impressive. I think the build tools are really good. I love the amount of creativity that's in there. The amount of startup building stuff that we've got.
Yeah, a lot of that's from... they've taken the best parts of Planco. They really have. Okay, it's a bit of an arse at the moment to get your mechanics to research stuff, but I got success last night where mine actually researched the New World theme, and that dropped tons of build stuff in. It wasn't just like one or two pieces, it actually dropped tons in, and tons of stuff that I'd been missing from Planco, so a lot of lighting and stuff like that. Yeah, I will say, when I researched the New World stuff, it almost feels like a mini DLC dropping.
Yeah,
There's so much stuff, you're like, oh my god, I've got glass roofs.
Anyone watches last night's stream, when I actually finally get it, and I see that I've suddenly got all the lights that I missed from Planco, and also there's lots of signs that drop in there, and just slightly different looks and a lot of wood and that kind of stuff that actually allows you to customize the zoo how you'd want to. And so I imagine, once I can eventually kick my my mechanic into researching the Indian theme, that there'll be a lot that drops with that as well.
Yep.
Hopefully some colourful awnings and that kind of thing. That I like, and as you say, it's like a little mini DLC.
Oh, it is. It's fantastic.
And once you eventually get it, and I don't think it's meant to be easy. I mean, I think, as you say, there are some bugs, and I think one of them is slightly in that area.
Yeah, there's... okay, flat out, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy the game, and from what I can see is going to happen at launch is all good stuff.
Yeah.
The things that have bugged me have been... generally just, okay, let's get the giant pink elephant in the room out of the way, and that is the animal trading section.
Now,
which
legitimately, listeners, Grim and I have argued over
this.
this.
No, we've recorded this video before, and we actually stopped the video like 4 minutes in and had an hour-long conversation about the store that you guys would not have been interested in at all. But the point is that this is probably the feature that's most outside of anything they've done before, and the one that is most in need of our testing.
Yeah, it's most in need of the beta.
And as you said before, this is a proper beta. The problem is, you and I are old now, veterans of this, and we've been through many betas.
You're calling me old.
Do
you want to start the domestic
you're
again?
21
I
plus
am 21
experience.
plus some experience.
So I'm just old. So
ancient.
There's ancient. Like the sands of
the
time.
Galapagos tortoise is younger than Grim.
Yeah. They look at me and go, oh, God, it is wise old wisdom.
Yes. Anyway, back to focus on the story.
Yes. So, back in the day, betas were probably betas. You had to play through these things, you would find bugs, you would report them, and they would be fixed. Nowadays, we get betas for the sake of marketing.
Yes.
That's 100%. Let's just get a beta out there. People will go, oh, beta. Call of Duty's
and also it's free advertising.
Yeah, which is exactly why Call of Duty is synonymous with doing stuff like that. This is a true beta. So,
The frustrations and annoyances I had, which I've said on all of these videos, and you've said exactly the same, it's a case of you would rather work through these issues now.
Yes.
And help Frontier to make a better game.
Yes.
Than we jump into the 5th of November and I can't click and adopt an animal.
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
And I also think 5th of November, there's going to be a lot more people playing.
Yeah.
And I think that would be really bad for the game if it was in that state at that point in time.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
However,
my attitude would be very different if this was the launch state.
You have a few suggestions to improve that trade centre that might make functionality better.
Yeah, just like some ease of life things. So, for anybody that's tried it, if you select an animal, you go to the compare mate area.
Now that's not crashing, because initially when you did that,
it crashed. Now it doesn't crash. It's a really good tool, and I like it a lot because you actually learn a lot of information from it. If you're like, okay, this one doesn't really work for me, or I like this one, and you go back to look again, the list resets.
Yes.
And that's frustrating as hell.
Yes. And you don't go straight back to your animal.
No, it resets back to whatever the default is, and you've got to reapply your filters and
find the same animal.
Yep.
And then when you go to purchase said animal,
I guarantee you it's gone.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating.
So your idea, okay, is a bit like no pun intended, no like advertising here, but a bit like Amazon's basket. You put your animal in a basket, which holds it whilst you investigate it.
Yeah, and it's not meant to sound like I'm shopping or anything. The point is, a zoo would want to take time to compare animals, look at an animal, see whether it's correct. So if you could just put this, literally for maybe...
I think it should give you 5 minutes. It should almost give you a 5-minute timer, and then if you've not done anything with it in 5 minutes...
Yes, timing can be adjusted, or if you actually come out of that screen completely, it just resets.
Yeah.
So, but you've got time to, okay, I'm taking this animal out, I'm looking at it, I'm comparing it with like another 2 or 3 animals that I've picked, and I like this one, I'm going to buy that one, the others go back in, and I can go through this. But I know that those animals are there and they're set.
Yeah.
And if I do decide to pick one, I can use it.
At that point, when you go to put them into your, I'm doing dits with my fingers, basket.
Yep.
If they're unavailable, you know they're unavailable at that point before you do your research.
Because the problem, it might just be me, but for me, this is, especially in franchise mode, it's a simulator.
Yes.
I am meant to be taking my time because I want the best. I understand at the moment we're in beta, but I'm trying to consider if I'm playing this live, what the things I'd like to see.
I get your thought train.
So if I'm in live, I want to be able to see is there any hidden issues with this animal. Even though the fertility says it's 60%, it's actually telling me that on the comparison with the animal I've got, that it
doesn't fancy it.
Well, it's infertile. Yeah, it's not going to produce anything. So I'm like, well, I don't want that one then. So let's look at the next one.
I get that.
And then you go back and you have to do the whole thing all over again.
Mm-hmm.
That's not in the best way I can describe it. It's not in the spirit of everything else of this game, which is all about detail, all about trying to make the best possible zoo simulator they can. It feels like I'm almost on a at the moment I'm on a WoW auction house. I'm like, woo! I need to just keep sparing the button until I buy it.
Which is the only way that most people are surviving in this game at the moment.
Oh, 100%. And I understand most of that is because it's beta.
Yeah, survival
and I
get
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
The thinker is going to die in this game right now.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It is spam, especially with the way that it is. In fact, that you do have to literally spam the button because you get so many failed, retry, failed, retry, failed, retry.
And that's beta.
Yeah,
that bit's beta. I'm sure that they will improve that. I think we've mentioned the issue with the mechanics doing their research.
Yep.
You literally have to keep on top of your mechanic. And I mean, you suggested to me about removing every other duty from a mechanic, and I've done that, and she still likes to go for a coffee break every 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, they never go back to work.
No, they don't go back to work afterwards. So if you don't spot them going to a coffee break, she just then stands there.
Yeah, I've had that a lot.
I've also got a vet, okay, in my zoo. And again, this is a beta issue. It's just a comedy beta issue for me now, okay? So this vet, I think he actually quit his job 6 years ago now, technically in zoo time. He still expects me to pay him. He still stood outside of the research centre, and he won't leave my zoo.
He won't leave the zoo.
And I tried refiring him, everything. He just won't go. So he's now kind of becoming a feature of my zoo.
Yeah.
Again, it's a beta issue. But it's quite comical, and I think I'm having to pay him wages.
Can you pick him up and move him?
No, I tried all of that last night. I spent a good 10 minutes clicking on him, kicking him, trying to just, boot him out, shove him over the edge. I almost put a rhinoceros on his head, but it just didn't do anything. He's stuck. Speaking of stuck, okay, so these wonderful staff paths they've given us, which are absolutely amazing, okay, don't get me wrong, the concept is fabulous, okay. Another small beta issue, I get a lot of guests on my staff paths.
I've had it where I've got like a huge main thoroughfare for my zoo. It's got a big wide path, and if a lot of people bunch up on that path, they can push like people on the edges out, and it's almost like they clip over onto the staff park, and once they clip over onto the staff park, they can never escape.
They never escape until you delete the path.
They just wander around my staff park now.
What I have noticed though, which is useful, is that the staff don't see them. They just walk through them.
Oh yeah, the staff just
they're as if they're not there.
Yeah, which makes me worry about the security.
Slightly, but my security guard, last night the inspector was in the zoo, and I've got a particularly sexy looking security guard. He's got a good bit of middle-aged paunch, and my inspector, she was a lady dressed in a really posh suit and everything else, clipboard, the lot, and I'm not sure that it's correct equality and diversity, that he kind of just tipped his hat and winked at her as if to go, hey baby.
Oh, you've got the brown nose trait on your security guard.
Oh, that's what it is.
It's the brown nose trait.
Well, I was quite pleased. She seemed happy by it, but you can hear in the background our biscuit has fallen asleep.
Yeah, we are recording this early in the morning, and the little you can hear it is a dog on the sofa dreaming.
Probably about Planet Zoo, because all he's seen this week is his parents play Planet Zoo. So I think that's there are some bugs in there, and actually some of them are really funny. What I have enjoyed this week is that there has been 2 patches. So game launched first night.
Yeah.
Many bugs.
Yep. Almost unplayable. People. Reality of it is there were people playing it for like 6 hours, and they would have
no animals.
Basically, that was it.
Yeah. And crashes were frequent.
Yep.
However, they patched on day 2.
Yep.
And actually crashes have reduced. I think on the first night I crashed 3 times whilst we were streaming.
There's now way less crashes. Way more playability.
Night 2 I maybe crashed once, and then since then I'm going to touch some wood. And our desks aren't made of wood, are they? They're like chipboard.
Our desks are wood. How dare you?
Wood. Right. I'm going to touch some wood. I've not actually crashed since in game. But they also have been slowly fixing other issues, and it's interesting to read through the fixes that they've done. Because the initial couple of days, the first patch was all about fixing crash issues.
Yeah.
The second one has actually been about fixing some other bugs that have come up in the game. And one of them was about the fact that zookeepers weren't feeding animals. Now, the reality of that is that half of that is a bug issue. Half of it is actually user learning interface.
I think a big part of it, the more I've read the patch notes and talked to other people, is that it seems to be that food nourishment was considered the enjoyment aspect, the enrichment. Food enrichment was considered food. So the keeper would walk into the enclosure, look around with his pipe. Mine all have pipes, and he would go, looks like they've got food.
Yes.
And walk out. It's like, no, that's enrichment. That's just for them to enjoy, buddy. The huge plate in the middle
that's empty, and they're all stood around going, I'm starving.
Yeah, my keeper would walk in, and literally my walls would just run at him going, please.
The initial fix from people was just remove your enrichment, and actually that started to work. Now, another bug that I had was that, because you have to also set your keeper to your work zone.
Yeah.
So, and I've actually got 1 keeper per exhibit, because I'm a little bit kind of freaky like that, and I like to know stuff's happening. And what had happened to me, and thanks to somebody who was watching our stream, who kept saying to me, just check your work zone, check your work zone.
Oh, that's
and
Chris.
I did.
Chris is a legend.
Chris is a legend. Chris, if you watch this, you are a legend. And actually what had happened is, even though I had set my work zone up, because I'd removed my animals to put them back in the trade centre to see if I could fix the exhibit, when I put them back in, the exhibit had dropped off of my work zone. So as soon as I then added my work zone back in, I replaced all my food bowls, and my keeper came in and they were feeding them. They actually then did a second patch, and patch number 2 did even more improvements on this, because they actually balanced out the enrichment versus the feeding trough balance, and it's actually mentioned in the patch. And last night playing, I actually had no problems with getting any keepers to feed anything.
I will say this is my biggest thing I think they could have done, which would have actually sorted out a lot of, is it user error or is it game error? Is it something we need to fix or is it something we need to learn? Would have been do away with career, do away with the story bit. I don't think we needed that in this. What we almost needed was a purpose-built beta tutorial. Something to tell it. It can be really simple. Just literally give us an overview. Yeah, moving camera, stuff like that for people that haven't played it before. But also, hey, work zones, way more important now. You do need them.
Because in Planko, we had a conversation the Wii. You never even used a work zone.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Whereas I used work zones in Planko. You never used them because you didn't actually have to. And I agree with you. And I also think that because I kind of had to play the story mode on that first night, and I mean our video is up from our first night play. Take a look because you can see how it was on that first night. But I actually think that I will enjoy sitting down beyond the 5th of November and working my way through that story mode, not so much as a tutorial, but actually as the career mode it's designed for. And I don't think that it should have been used as the tutorial.
No, there was too much.
I've also got a big apology to make.
Mm.
And that is that actually, if the streamers at Gamescom were only given 10 minutes on that tutorial, I can understand why they had so many escaped and dead animals.
It would also explain a lot why at the Gamescom one, you didn't see anybody using work zones. No, none of them set up work zones for their keepers at all.
So again,
and that's a huge part of how you can feed your animals, how you can maintain,
also,
look after them. And
here's a hint and tip for everybody. Something again that the community has discovered but we've not been taught is, so you know how you've been researching all of your animals and they tell you they get better food, but actually when you still look in your food trough it's only hay that's being served or low grade food. That's because you actually need to go into the exhibit, into the nourishment part, and then choose the higher grade of food because you need to pay more for it.
Tips and tricks with Cuddles,
with Cuddles.
Yeah.
But again, the community has discovered that, and I know that part of the thing was there was bits for the community to discover, but
I don't think that should be one of them.
At the sacrifice of your animals.
Yeah, that shouldn't be one of them. It should be little quirky things, not fundamental game design stuff. So, final thoughts.
Final thoughts are, I am absolutely loving this. I love the game, bugs and all. I'm sat here now thinking, why am I still recording this? I could actually be streaming and playing.
Okay, Cuddles is full fangirl. I think we've ascertained that.
It's amazing. It's as good as we thought. I think the concept is as good as we thought, and I think they're going to deliver.
Oh no, I believe they will deliver. I think that there's bugs, there's issues, but
it's bloody amazing. Don't be negative, Nelly.
I'm not being negative. I'm being realistic. There are bugs, there are issues, but from what we have seen, they have patched. We've had 2 patches so far. I'm hoping by the 8th we will have a lot of these things ironed out, and that they have a lot of data that has come from this that means that they are more prepared and ready for volume that is going to come on the 5th of November. And that they are prepared with regards to the franchise mode and how that online animal trading is going to work.
Yep, and also, I mean, a quick note, they're also very much listening to the community, and they've actually implemented the offline franchise mode as well.
They have. We will be putting a video up about that. We literally discussed it
last night.
Soon as the news came out. We were discussing it on the live stream.
And yes, we're going to pop that one up as well. Thanks for listening.
Thank you everybody for listening.
These are just our thoughts. Yeah. And if you have thoughts and you have comments and feedback, feel free to just put it on the bottom of the video.
Yeah, throw it in the comments. It'd be really interesting to see what people think.
Yeah, or pop in because we're streaming a lot at the moment.
Yeah, we are streaming a lot. So
if you like and if you subscribe to us, you'll get our streaming notifications.
Yep.
Feel free to pop in. And
if you're not subscribed, why not?
Yes. And I'm dead sorry if sometimes I miss you talking. It's actually because the screen to see the chat is over the other side of our room.
Yeah, it's more set up for me streaming because I tend to stream more than you do.
So if Grim is sat there, he hits me and I look up and I go, oh, hello! But sometimes I miss it if I'm just got my tongue hanging out and I'm focusing on the game. Because, in all honesty, like a little fangirl that I am, I'm just loving playing.
That's a good one to end on, I think.
It is.
Have a great one, everybody.
You too. Bye.